with the explosive hearing in Washington, it turns out Donald Trump was even more of a bag than we originally thought. We heard some truly insane testimony from Cassidy Hutchinson, a top aide to Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows. Cassidy painted a very unflattering portrait of Trump's behavior on January 6th, including the little bitch fit he threw when the Secret Service wouldn't let him go to the Capitol during the riot. I do not want children.
She's a world-class liar.
Chelsea Handler just went nuclear on Donald Trump, and she did it with zero hesitation. This wasn't a polite critique. It was a full-force comedic demolition wrapped in sarcasm, truth bombs, and pure chaotic energy. Her jokes hit so hard that even some Trump supporters were left blinking, unsure how to clap back. It felt like a roast, a reality check, and public therapy all happening at once. Now everyone is asking the same thing. What exactly did Chelsea say that has people spiraling? Let's break it down.
This week, Donald Trump surprised us all by doing something he's never done before. He acted like a normal person during a press conference.
Seemed to largely stick to script. He was reading from the teleprompter. If you're not used to seeing Donald Trump, he didn't say anything too controversial there.
It's like a little baby getting his training wheels. This was just days after he attacked the judge who was presiding over the Trump University case for being a Mexican, despite the fact that the judge was born in Indiana, the least Mexican place in the world.
If you're enjoying this, hit that subscribe button. It truly helps more than you know. It's a strange day in America when Chelsea Handler becomes the unofficial spokesperson for the nation's collective eye roll. But here we are. Out of nowhere, she unleashed what every comedian dreams of and every therapist would warn against. A full, unfiltered takedown of Donald Trump.
Trump sat back down and patiently waited for his car to arrive at the White House. Just kidding. Of course, that's not what he did.
Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel. And when Mr. Renato had recounted this story to me, he had motioned towards his clavicles.
That is no way to treat a Secret Service agent. That is how you treat a contestant in the dressing room at the Miss Universe pageant. Sadly, there is no footage of Trump grabbing the wheel, but I imagine it would look something like this.
She didn't ease into it or soften the blow. Chelsea came in swinging with the energy of someone who's endured 8 exhausting years of spray-tan saturation and headline-induced migraines. And her timing? Impeccable. Trump is deep in another I'm the victim of a global conspiracy phase, somehow trying to trademark the word truth while spinning new chaos daily. That's exactly when Chelsea stepped up. A comedian whose entire career thrives on roasting, she took one look at Trump's latest self-made circus and decided it deserved her most unfiltered, unapologetic brand of comedic destruction. Sharp, fearless, and long overdue.
Issues are moving forward and why Trump represents such pandemonium to me.
Yeah, that's one of the things about this book. This is a different kind of a book. I mean, it's still hilarious, but you're really kind of opening up your heart. Why did the Trump election hit you so hard?
I think through therapy, I had to get a psychiatrist after the election. So, Republicans love to talk about that. Chelsea Handler is such a spoiled brat. And I was acting like a spoiled brat. I didn't understand that things could go this wrong. I thought adults were supposed to take care of these, adults like you, responsible people, so that I could go on living in my blissful kind of uninformed happiness, cashing checks and being a loudmouth. I was like, oh, this is great.
What came next wasn't just comedy. It felt like a full-blown televised exorcism powered entirely by punchlines. Chelsea didn't simply roast Trump. She practically drift-turned through his entire personality like a demolition derby driver, wearing designer sunglasses and zero remorse. And she didn't start with policy or politics. No, she went straight for the absurd. His theatrics, his exaggerations, the reality show aura that refuses to leave American life like a bad spin-off nobody asked for. Because let's be honest, Trump stopped being a traditional politician a long time ago. He became a genre, a franchise, a series that keeps getting renewed even though the audience has been begging the network to pull the plug. Chelsea treated him like a show long past its expiration date, one where the writers clearly left years ago but the main character never got the memo. She started connecting dots no one asked her to, brilliantly pointing out how Trump manages to make every situation orbit around himself. If the weather shifts, it's about him. If gas prices rise, it's sabotage. If a hurricane forms, he'd probably blame the deep state for being jealous of his golf resorts. Chelsea tore through that logic like ripping a loose thread off a discount suit, quick, ruthless, and strangely satisfying. Her message was unmistakable. This isn't politics anymore. It's performance art gone rogue. Trump's post-presidency looks less like leadership and more like what would happen if a YouTube comment section became human and decided to run for office.
And if you think the ketchup story is a bit off, Trump apparently did stuff like this all the time.
Are there other instances in the dining room that you recall where he expressed his anger?
There were several times throughout my tenure with the chief of staff that I was aware of him either throwing dishes or flipping the tablecloth.
But those were just his play dates with Rudy Giuliani. And it's not about Trump. Trump represents to me that period of time where the unjustness of...
What made Chelsea's takedown hit as hard as it did was the way she stripped Trump of the political armor he hides behind. She didn't treat him like a dangerous force or a calculated mastermind. She treated him like a washed-up celebrity desperately clawing for relevance on TikTok. That's where it stung. Because for all the bluster, Trump survives on attention. Take away the applause, the outrage, the cameras, the crowd chanting his name, and it's like someone unplugged his emotional life support. Chelsea's roast felt like watching someone hold up a mirror and force a narcissist to actually look. The horror, the tragedy, the realization that the world does not revolve around Mar-a-Lago. She shredded the branding, the cheap slogans, the endless merch drops, because truly only Trump could turn politics into something that resembles a discount mall. His campaign store looks like a cross between a yard sale and a patriot-themed cosplay convention. Chelsea called it exactly what it is. Not strategy, not ideology, but pure product placement. Somewhere between selling MAGA hats and pretending to save America, Trump converted democracy into a traveling merch table. And Chelsea exposed it with the finesse of a surgeon and the unhinged energy of a stand-up comic running on 3 espressos. She painted Trump as a man still auditioning for The Apprentice, Oval Office edition asterisk, a guy whose real nemesis is Biden, the media, or the FBI, but the basic concept of reality itself. And she didn't stop at the political theater. She went after the personal circus, too, the rallies that look less like political events and more like music festivals for conspiracy theorists.
First time I was charmed by Mr. Donald Trump. It was 1994, and both of our hair was long and still naturally blonde. And he said something that every young girl dreams of hearing.
Putting a wife to work is a very dangerous thing. I don't want to sound too much like a chauvinist, but when I come home and dinner's not ready, I go through the roof.
He's always been romantic. Here he is explaining how he negotiated his prenup with Marla Maples from $25 million down to $1 million.
Chelsea didn't just crack jokes. She brought a whole psychological breakdown disguised as comedy. She described Trump's supporters like fans on their way to Comic-Con, except instead of celebrating superheroes, they're cheering for a man who once claimed windmills cause cancer. That line alone carried enough sarcasm to power a small city. And every sentence after that dripped with the same mix of fury and entertainment, because honestly, how else do you process the Trump era? It's like being trapped in a soap opera you never agreed to watch, but you keep tuning in just to see how much stranger it can get. Chelsea pointed out what a lot of people think but rarely say out loud. Trump isn't running a campaign, he's running a reality show. Every legal problem becomes a rally. Every scandal becomes a merch drop. Every challenge somehow circles back to crowd size. It's like watching a magician who ran out of tricks years ago but still insists on wearing the cape. And when she hit the real nerve, Trump's biggest fear isn't losing an election, it's losing the spotlight. You could feel the sting. She turned that spotlight into a heat lamp and roasted the fact that Trump hasn't moved on from anything. Not 2020, not the rallies, not the persona. He's been stuck in reruns for years, and every new statement sounds like deleted footage from a show the audience begged to cancel.
I started wondering what Donald Trump will be saying to his kids and Melania's body double sitting in his gold-plated dining room. Trump has a lot to be thankful for. On his recent trip to Asia, he got to play this super fun game of Red Rover in the Philippines with Duterte.
Chelsea compared the entire Trump empire to a reality show that refuses to end, even after the network has basically canceled it. And honestly, she's not wrong. It has turned into the longest-running unscripted drama in modern American history, complete with rivals, scandals, dramatic plot twists, eccentric side characters, and far too many scenes involving golf carts. But the real twist in her monologue came when she flipped the narrative. She didn't just roast Trump himself. She exposed the whole machine that keeps him alive in the spotlight, the media obsession, the outrage-driven clicks, and the people who can't stop talking about him, even when they swear they're tired of him. Chelsea basically told America it helped create this character, one tweet, one share, one headline at a time. That's when her words really landed. The roast wasn't just aimed at Trump. It turned into a mirror held up to the entire audience, the fans, the critics, and the doom-scrolling spectators who keep his name trending more often than the weather. She pointed out something people rarely dare to admit. Trump doesn't even need the presidency anymore. He already controls the algorithm. He's like a digital ghost haunting every news cycle. You can try to scroll past him, but he always pops up again, if not on your feed, then in the comments. Chelsea also called out the absurd image he sells, a supposed champion of the working class who lives in gold-plated excess. A man who pretends he's an outsider while flying around in a private jet with his own name stamped across it. That's not populism, it's parody. And her final punchline summed it up perfectly. Trump's idea of hard work is yelling at cable news while cruising around in a golf cart.
He's also thankful that Melania was able to find a new friend when she was over in Beijing. It turns out she's as eloquent on Twitter as her husband. After meeting the panda, Melania tweeted, "Wonderful to met Gugu." And then Gugu tweeted back, "Wonderful to met someone else who lives in captivity."
The scary thing is that this probably isn't far from the truth. From there, she started unraveling the legend of Trump, the brilliant businessman, the supposedly self-made mogul, reminding everyone that the man has been laid out more times than a teenager with rich parents and terrible judgment. Chelsea didn't just laugh at the myth. She dismantled it piece by piece, revealing how the so-called empire is built less on solid business acumen and more on decades of brand delusion. In classic Chelsea fashion, she turned pure comedy into sharp social commentary. She pointed out that Trump embodies everything America can't seem to let go of: fame without merit, confidence without competence, and success without any meaningful substance. The real punchline came when she said, metaphorically, that Trump isn't leading a movement. He's hosting a reunion special for people who miss yelling at their televisions. Every transition in her rant hit like a caffeine-fueled sketch. One moment she was roasting his spray tan, calling it the most bipartisan issue in the country, and the next she was breaking down how his ego might be the only thing in America truly too big to fail. Then she shifted to his so-called reputation as a truth-teller. Chelsea mocked the irony of a man who calls everyone else dishonest but can't seem to remember what he said last week, or what year it is. She compared it to watching someone desperately try to gaslight history itself, as if facts were optional accessories he could put on or take off depending on the crowd.
Seems like the only relationship in Donald Trump's life that has stood the test of time is his relationship with the press. Trump gives the press ratings, and the press gives Trump the attention every 3-year-old trapped inside a Cheeto Puff needs. It's kind of like in nature where two species can't live without each other, like the red-billed oxpecker and the impala. This little nugget bird survives from eating ticks off the impala's coat, and the impala benefits by not having any parasites. Just like how the press feeds off Donald Trump's ticks. But those ticks are verbal, like these.
That is when things went completely and delightfully unhinged. Chelsea Handler didn't just go off, she detonated the entire myth. Every punchline she delivered hit like a political uppercut disguised as a joke. She turned his slogans into punchlines, his hand gestures into memes, and his contradictions into a form of twisted performance art. The funniest part? The same people who usually call her irrelevant suddenly couldn't stop saying her name. Trump's supporters were furious. His critics were celebrating. And Chelsea was probably somewhere sipping wine, scrolling through the chaos she had unleashed, enjoying every second of the outrage swirling around her. That's her superpower. She understands that in Trump, America, you don't defeat absurdity with reason, you fight it with an even bigger absurdity. Logic doesn't work on someone who thrives on chaos, so she beat him at the one game he thinks he invented. She flipped his entire playbook back at him. The attention-grabbing antics, the spectacle, the never-ending showmanship. She mirrored it and then outdid it using nothing but razor-sharp comedy. Somewhere, Trump was undoubtedly fuming, not just because of the jokes, but because, for one day, she probably got more clicks than he did. Chelsea's rant lit up social media like fireworks at a family barbecue. Every platform buzzed. Every headline twisted the knife. And yet, beneath all the laughs, her message struck home. America doesn't just have a Trump problem. It has an addiction to drama, to outrage, to the constant adrenaline rush of political chaos.
Trump's also thankful for the entire season of autumn because it's that special time of year when all of the leaves change colors and they fall to the ground, and Trump loves watching Jeff Sessions rake up all the brown ones, bag them, and then deport them. I'm sure that he's thankful for his right handyman, Mike Pence.
Chelsea Handler's takedown went far beyond a simple roast. She laid bare the uncomfortable truth. Leadership has become entertainment, and confusion has become a kind of currency, and Trump is the most successful salesman of that culture. But she didn't just rant at him. She broke the fourth wall, forcing everyone watching to confront the larger picture. This isn't just about one politician. It's about how much absurdity a society will tolerate before finally admitting things have spiraled out of control. She pulled back the orange-tinted curtain and revealed what lies behind the theatrics. Behind every tantrum, every cry of witch hunt, every staged outrage, is a man terrified of irrelevance. Chelsea gave that reality sharp teeth. The audience laughed, not because it was fantastical, but because it was painfully, undeniably accurate. The irony was almost perfect. While Trump continues yelling about fake news, Chelsea handed viewers one of the funniest, rawest, and most honest breakdowns imaginable, wrapped in jokes and dipped in sarcasm. Her punchlines didn't just entertain, they exposed. She turned Trump into a cartoon version of himself, a living meme trapped inside his own brand, highlighting the absurdity of a man who built his empire on attention. In a poetic twist, for someone whose power depends on being watched, nothing stings more than being made the punchline everyone understands. Chelsea didn't just roast him. She delivered a cultural critique wrapped in comedy, a lesson in truth disguised as laughter, and a moment that will linger far beyond the joke itself.